global warming, extinction of species, and possible nuclear winter. Um, yes, happenings of the world. I guess the most unbelievable thing that one heard during the weekend was that extreme surveillance becomes UK law with barely a whimper, says The Guardian, which I guess is a pretty good depiction of it. I mean, as far as I understand, it's like, it's a total Orwellian nightmare, and everybody's been like thinking of something else, and it just happened. Again, my condolences to United Kingdom. I mean, you have no idea what it. Oh boy. Then, continuing with The Guardian, two nephews of Venezuela's First Lady were found guilty on Friday on US charges that they tried to carry out a multi-million-dollar drug deal to obtain a large amount of cash to help their family stay in power. Again, I better take a closer look at Venezuela in the sense that U.S. charges. That's always a red flag, so to speak. Then I guess one has to say this, even though, I hope most people have, but this is the standard telling that Brits urged not to report Dubai crimes after gang-raped woman was arrested for extramarital sex. Yeah, that's a good advice, but again, just, I do have to get my own word in and say insane, total and utter insanity. There's no other word for it. Just simply, that's a textbook definition of insanity. New immigration rules, quietly announced after US election, make it easier for Americans to work and stay in Canada. That's global news, reporting. But again, I mean, that is probably the funniest news of the weekend. Photos emerge of an uncontacted Amazon tribal community in Brazil threatened by illegal gold miners. This is the Independent. Well, the Independent, you always have to take it with a grain of salt, but if true, I mean, that's again awful. The Independent continuing. This is the second funniest. Rich people in India are begging the poor to help them after large note ban. Wealthy Indians are said to be treating their maids, drivers, nannies and cooks with unusual politeness in the hope of persuading them to launder undeclared cash they had been stashing in their homes. It's nice to have your employer treating you nicely for a while, for a short while. And again, the Independent, but if true, this is pretty good. Scotland considers legally enshrining the right to food. It would mean the government and other public bodies would have to have a duty to ensure everyone has secure access to adequate and affordable food. That's pretty good. And again, it's the Independent, all right? But this is going to be the craziest news of the weekend. Tony Blair returning to politics because he thinks Jeremy Corbyn is a nutter and Theresa May is a lightweight. Now this has to be a joke. And I mean, if true, Tony Blair calling Jeremy Corbyn a nutter is one of the greatest jokes I've ever encountered. And then, of course, I mean, considering what happened to the Clintons when they were trying to return to politics, one has to say to Tony Blair, to try and return to politics, good luck with that. Al Jazeera reporting that Bolivia's worst water crisis in 25 years again, has pushed authorities to declare indefinite water rationing in La Paz to ease the impacts of a parching drought that's led to scarcity in 5 of the South American country's 9 departments. Again, please everybody think of global warming. That's what it's all about. And my heartfelt condolences to Bolivia. Reuters. Fed up with EU, Erdogan says Turkey could join Shanghai bloc. Well, I'm pretty sure that any sane European is totally fed up with Erdogan. And if he wants to join the Shanghai bloc, if they are actually loonies enough to have him, please, Mr. Erdogan, go ahead. Join something worse, for all I care. UK PM to announce corporation tax cut plan. News.com reporting. I didn't get to read what the heck does that mean. But to Theresa May, this may not be the exactly right moment, I would say. Island tech philosophy to heal our post-truth society, says President Higgins. Irish Times reporting. One has to say that it is interesting that post-truth is now a thing. That's incredibly good, but considering that truth has not really been a high flyer, as what one can see during the last, I don't know, bloody at least 100 years. It's interesting whether something actually happens with it. I mean, not if the elites are concerned, nothing will happen with it, and then it's, again, one should analyze what it means. I mean, when they talk about post-truth, are they really talking about, what led to it and what truth is and so on? Is it actually going to correct anything, like that we would have some sort of reality? Then, very shortly, because Sky News, there wasn't just a headline that calls to legalize cannabis to boost tax income and save millions, and it's Sky, so I'm pretty sure it has to be Great Britain, even though I didn't get further than that. Sounds good. And again, I mean, there's absolutely no question that cannabis should not be illegal anywhere, and why it is, I still don't know. Everybody just followed the example of Nixon's government, and just decided to lock away, alt left-wingers. What is it all about? Cannabis should be totally legal. Then to my rant today, growth. I thought it was reasonably half clever to take that as the title, because I personally I feel myself growing like a tree. I've been listening to everybody from Tariq Ali to Mark Blythe, and I finally I truly feel that I finally have not only an idea what's going on, because that's pretty much what I've been wondering, for years now. But then more and more I rant, the more I have to in different areas I have to start wondering what the heck is going. I mean, what is going on? What? And now I'm starting to have pretty much a thought, or idea what's going on, and it's so lovely. For example, since I've wondered what's happening in Finland, what's it all about, and suddenly find out that somebody has actually, made a concept of the extreme center. That's spot on. That's what we have in Finland. And I mean, my mind is exploding of all this incredibly useful information that I receive. And with the idea that there actually are people in the world who are trying to actually say something, even though, watching official media or following official media, you wouldn't know it. Now then, the other part, or the, in a way, the main part, and let's see how much I have time for this. The main part of my, what I want to say about growth, and what I've never understood, and in a way I'm never going to, is growth of business. I mean, again, I think it was one of Mark Blythe's lectures where he quite brilliantly showed what's been happening during the last 40 years, and and how everything has been turned upside down as far as full employment, and who's in charge, and who is listened to, and who has the power, how it's with neoliberalism, how it all has been turned upside down. But he said that in the 70s, and I have to say that there were several places in the world, in the Western world, where there was pretty much full employment, and that this was something that the business world, the business elite, and of course that's when they started this corporate takeover. They couldn't have that because they couldn't have any growth. The only way they could have growth is if they raised prices, and at that point they had a peasant revolt, workers' revolt. And again, if you have full employment, which means that the company owners, they're also all employed, and you have the way that things were in some parts of the world in the 70s, that you actually had full employment, and everybody somewhat got along, and there was well, it's so incredible, because everything pretty much was like it should be. Why would you need to have growth? Why couldn't you just be happy? Making, what in Finland is known as a zero result for the year, no plus, no minus, or perhaps little minus, little plus. You don't get richer, but why should you if everything is fine? So in that situation where there was, everybody had a job, countries were pretty much led politically, and not through corruption, democratically, and why would you want suddenly to have huge inequality? Why would you want to have growth at that point? What do you need growth for in business? And I'm pretty sure that one can. If I can, I'll take a look. But it seems, from the humanistic point of view, completely insane.